Hello everyone. Welcome to the interactive program, live interactive program of CIET, NCERT that you are watching on Kishore Manch channel of SWAYAM Prabha. Some of you are also watching us live on our YouTube channel, NCERT official, where you send us your comments live in the live chat going on below the live video. And you can also send us your comments, questions, and feedbacks and suggestions on 1800111265 and 1800112199. Those are our toll-free numbers. Yes, toll-free. You are not going to pay anything for that, but your questions and queries will reach us. Also, your creativity can reach us at ciet.kishoremunch@gmail.com. That is our email ID. So do that. And now I'm going to start a very fun learning discussion about how we can access and create self-learning activities or resources through mapping activity. And this is the part one of this discussion. And to tell us more about it, we have with us Ms. Sanchita Ghosh. Ma'am, you are most welcome to the show.
Good morning, Rakshit. Good morning to all the viewers who are watching the show. And today's session is going to be something a little different. So far, we've been talking about how teachers can create resources for students. But today I'm going to be talking about how students can create their own learning resources using the ICT skills that they've already learned as part of their ICT curriculum.
So, ma'am, students are doing their own things, creating their own resources and activities.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, the skills that we have and technology has improved so much that anyone with access to internet, either with a phone or with a laptop, can create their own resources, not only for their own learning, but even they can help their friends and even assist the teachers in creating these resources.
Yes, ma'am. Times have really changed, because when we were trying to hold a bat, now kids are learning things and trying them on their phones, tablets, and computers. So what are we going to learn today? What all things are we going to touch today?
So basically, we are going to be looking at two ways in which we can use maps to enrich our geography and history knowledge for today. Yeah, so that's what I planned for today. So shall we start?
Okay, ma'am. I will share the presentation with you.
Yeah.
Here is the presentation that our viewers can see, I suppose. Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
This is it.
So basically, why this idea first occurred to me was because I have been working with some teachers who do not have access to either devices. They just have a smartphone and a very erratic internet connection. So they say that even though they're able to communicate with their children, they're unable to create any meaningful learning resources for their classes. So how can we help the students further? So on further investigation, we found that these were students of 9th and 10th secondary level students, and they do already have some pre-existing ICT skills. So those can be harnessed to use tools which are already available to us online, and students can create their own learning resources either by creating them from scratch or from by taking some material available on websites and putting them together in a document. So can we just go on to the next link, please? Yeah, so also the crux of the matter is now for students, it is not enough just to acquire knowledge. So I'm going to school, there are some books, there is something that the teacher is telling me. So my job is no more limited to just taking that knowledge, learning that up, and then producing all of that in an exam. I now have to think in terms of problem solving. So currently, what is my problem? My problem is the teacher, for whatever reason, is unable to create or share resources with me.
Right.
So how can I create my own learning resources? So we are going to try to solve that problem today. So can we go on to the next slide, please?
Yes, ma'am. The boundaries of course and syllabus are fading away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is no limit to learning and to problem solving. So yeah, so as we stated the problem, that this is access to learning resources. So if I can't access anything from my teacher, I can start creating my own. Next slide, please. So again, really a repeat of what we've been doing. We can move on to the next slide. Rakshit, have we moved on? Because my screen seems to have frozen on the yellow slide itself. Rakshit, yeah. Has the slide moved forward? I can't hear you. Yeah. Just take us to the next slide, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ah.
So here you will see I've named School Bhuvan as one of our resources we're going to use today. And this is nothing else but a portal providing map-based learning to bring awareness among students about our country's natural resources, environment, and their role in sustainable development. Now, this is part of the geography curriculum in secondary school. School Bhuvan is actually the school wing or the school arm of the Bhuvan website. If you could just click on the link. Just click on School Bhuvan. It should take us to the link there. The previous slide, yeah. Yes, so this the Bhuvan website was started by ISRO under the aegis of MHRD to create satellite imagery and on-ground research and bring all of this material for all kinds of people. You know, not only for administrators but also for town planners, environmental workers who would be able to access all this information and work properly on the ground. And then the realization happened that, we don't have a school arm. How can school students access these resources in a more friendly manner? So if you just scroll down a little bit, we will see a purple explore button. Yeah, and if you could just click on this explore button.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So this is going to open us out to a satellite image of India. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you should be able to see Thematic Series 1 and Thematic Series 2. So Thematic Series 1 is largely about our natural resources, starting with climate, with drainage, with natural vegetation and wildlife, physical features, population, census data of 2011, administrative boundaries, that is, how districts and panchayats and all are organized. And hydrological boundaries as well. So today,
viewers, if you are not able to look at your screen because there are fine prints on the website as well, where my pointer is, this is Thematic Series 1 and this one is Thematic Series 2 tab, and the ma'am told you about these options here in the left side window. Those are here, right here. Okay.
Yes.
Now, ma'am, you can proceed.
Yeah. So now how can I use this to create my learning resource? Now, let's say, for example, we need to connect, what crops are grown or what natural vegetation we have with the annual rainfall of our country. So, Rakshit, if you could just click on that little checkbox on against annual rainfall.
Annual rainfall, this one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And you can see that our map has changed. And it is giving out the average rainfall figures for our country, right? So you've got in the eastern part of the country, you have a very rainy region, especially in the northeast, you've got above 400 centimeter zones. And in the eastern part, you have 100 to 200 centimeters of annual rainfall, right? Now, if we go into, we'll just keep this map as it is. And Rakshit, please click on Thematic Series 2.
Thematic Series 2.
Yeah, and you can cross out the legend. Legend is not really essential as of now.
Okay.
Right. And let's click on the first item that we have, which is called agriculture.
Agriculture.
Yeah, and let's click on the rice growing areas.
Okay.
And as you can see, the main rice growing areas are the light green part, not the dark green one, but the light green one. And this is largely contiguous with the high rainfall regions of India. Right.
Okay. So it's clearly visible, ma'am, that the eastern part of the country brings most of the rice to the country.
Yes. And why is that? Because we have greater rainfall there. Right. Rice requires a lot of water and also clay soil. So if we went back to theme 1, we would see that there is, in thematic 2 only, we have a reference to soil as well. So were we to click on this, we would see the different soil types in India as well. So if you compare the rainfall map with the soil map, and then the crop areas, you will see that, you need a particular kind of soil and a certain amount of rainfall to actually be able to grow rice. Now, if we uncheck the rice growing areas and check the wheat growing areas.
Okay. Now you can see.
And you will see that wheat is being grown in areas with a kind of medium rainfall. They don't need too much rain. And obviously they do need some rain, right? So you will see Rajasthan, which is a low rainfall area. You do not have a lot of wheat growing areas here. Perhaps it's only the northern part which is getting some access to some artificial forms of irrigation as well. But largely you see it's the Punjab, Haryana and Western UP, northern Madhya Pradesh, which are largely wheat growing areas. And
some
these are
of our
also
viewers have
wheat.
guessed, ma'am, the parts of Rajasthan that make wheat might be Ganganagar and Hanumangarh and the
Yes,
northern
yes,
area.
because they are serviced by the canal systems there, and they are able to
Yeah,
get enough irrigation for their wheat fields. But
right,
obviously, they
ma'am.
cannot grow any rice here because
Hmm.
one, the soil is sandy, so it doesn't hold the water there, right?
Hmm.
You need more alluvial clay kind of soil so that the
Yes,
water is standing for some time for the rice crop to really take root and become
right.
strong and therefore increase yield,
Hmm.
right? So,
Right.
what can we do with this? Like, now, how can I create a resource out of this? ये मैंने तो
Hmm.
देख लिया, but
Hanji.
how can I share this with my teacher, or if I'm working on a project, how can I convert this into my project paper? Very simple. I go into each of the maps individually, take a screenshot, right, and save them onto a document next to each other, and then I can draw my points of comparison uh, in detail at the bottom, so that the concept is clear for me, and I can also teach my friends this concept, especially those who've not really understood this relationship between rainfall and rice, or what natural vegetation might grow in a particular region, right?
So, ma'am,
Most of
now I
us.
can draw the difference here that when we were
Yeah.
kids in school, we used to buy this map of India, political map of India, and physical map of India, and draw things like where does wheat grow, where does
Yes.
rice grow, where does a cotton come from, and we used to shade them. And now this is all in the palm of our hands.
Yes, it's all available to you. You can also create new resources out of it. Now, let's say, for example, school reopens soon. I'm very excited. I want my school to reopen. I miss my students a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say school reopens and I have now access to transparency sheets. I can actually get printout of this on transparency sheets, superimpose one layer over the other, and project it over my overhead projector, and students can actually see one map layered on top of the other. In fact, School Bhuvan also allows you to layer one on top of the other. So as the students are going to explore this more, they can actually even come up with better ideas than what I have discussed today, and perhaps give us feedback that this is the resource we've created, and further we can share them with a larger audience of school students in India, and the teachers as well. So I think this is one of the most amazing things students can use through the School Bhuvan portal. And thank you to MHRD and ISRO to have created something very specifically meeting the requirements of school education. So if there are any questions, can we take them up right now, or should we go to the new next tool that we'll talk about?
Ma'am, we'll proceed with the next tool because we don't have a lot of time right now.
Great.
I will save the questions for the end of the show.
Okay, great. So now you can go back into the presentation and go to the next slide, where we are going to be looking at some Google tools here. Yeah, if you go on to the next slide. Yeah, so if you just click on mymaps.google.com, students can open a fresh browser on their screens and type in mymaps.google.com. And if you have a Gmail account, it should not be difficult. If you talk about secondary school, 9th and 10th students, you can have a Gmail account. If you have a Gmail account from school, even better. And of course, Rakshit, you don't have any maps right now, but we can create our maps. So just go on to that red button, create a new map.
I have clicked on it.
Yeah, it should, yes, it should be working in a few moments. Right. Okay. So here again, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you will see that the map is untitled right now. So if you click on the untitled part, it opens up, the field for you to name the map just above that, right on top, untitled map.
So we can just make it.
Yeah, this would be the layer. So we will avoid
CIET
this.
map.
Yeah, we can call it the CIET map and save. Excellent. Right. So let's say class 10 students, they have nationalism in India as one of their most important topics. And the map is very, very important, right? From not only school exam perspective, but also from the board exam perspective. Right. And right now, again, because of technical issues, maybe the teacher is unable to share these map resources with the children. So again, students can create their own. So all you have to do is go in that search field, that white band next to the blue magnifying glass.
Okay.
And let's say we start typing in Champaran, for example, which was the first place where Gandhiji led his satyagraha in India for the very first time. So Champaran, Bihar. Yeah. And then you have this little dialog box opening. And right at the bottom of this dialog box, you have a plus sign and add to map. We click on this. So it kind of pins it to our map. And now we want to add more detail. So there's this little pencil icon that you can see on the Champaran.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. And now in that box here, you can say Gandhiji's first satyagraha in India. And we can add more details if we want. Champaran was an area where farmers were forced to grow indigo, and the indigo planters were not giving them enough resources. So you can actually create an entire resource on this map. So you can go in as much detail as you want, and you can click on save at this point, and then go back into this little camera icon that you will see next to the pencil icon.
Okay.
We can also insert images and videos here. So you can see, a search box is open for you. So you can either upload an image if you already have one on your computer, or you can go into Google image search. So we'll go into Google image search for now. Right on top of the dialog box. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can search for the image. So you can just type in Champaran Satyagraha, and you'll have a whole lot of images opening up. Now, why should we access an image like this? Because it only shows up images which are copyright free. Okay. So we can use these copyright free images when we are creating these resources, right? And just give it a few seconds, the image should come up in the dialog box. Excellent. And we can save.
Right, ma'am.
We can also add videos, in fact, to this resource.
Wow. So, ma'am, if a student has a problem remembering all these things, and he saves that on a map and then visualizes the map, he can take a look at it and realize that in Bihar, this thing happened. Gandhiji walked his first satyagraha there.
Absolutely. So, in fact, if you add more and more sites on this map, for example, you can add Amritsar, which saw the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, or you can look at Nagpur, where a very important Congress session took place, where the resolution for the non-cooperation movement was passed, or you can mark Lahore, where the Purna Swaraj resolution took place. So, actually, you can map the entire chapter using this method.
So and we can keep creating maps and saving them as per our needs, according to our chapters, according to our knowledge area that we want to pursue, and fill them up with such events and places.
Wow. Yes, absolutely. So on the same map, as you can see again on the left hand side, the legend that is opened up, you already have Champaran listed there. And as you keep adding more sites, each of these sites will keep adding. Now, if you can just close the Champaran dialog box, and we can zoom out the map. And if we can see the larger, the smaller scale map of India, you can exactly locate Champaran.
Wow, it's near Bhagalpur.
Yes. So just minimize further.
Wow.
So, and as you add, so, and as you keep adding more and more sites, you can add Amritsar, Bombay, which saw lots of Congress session. The first Indian National Congress session was held in Bombay in 1885. You can add all of these details. And this single map.
At this point, I would like to say something to our viewers. That ma'am has told you such important and fun way of learning things about the map, about places around you. So why don't you pick your own city, your own place in this map, and write or click a picture about it and put it in the map, and then send us a screenshot of that map on ciet.kishoremunch@gmail.com. That would be really great, and ma'am will highly appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes. And I think this way you will not only help yourself, but you will help students across the country. For example, if you live in a place where there is a important Buddhist site, for example, and you already have some images of maybe a stupa or maybe an Ashokan inscription, share that image, right? And share the screenshot or give us the link to Kishore Munch, where they will put it up on their website, and any student can access your material along with your name. So you kind of become a bit of a celebrity as well. Educational celebrity, why not? I mean,
right, ma'am.
Yes.
And you can put your own city, your own place on the map as well, with CIET and the country who is watching this, everything going on, educational activities going on.
And so now we can also learn more about your city.
We can also clearly see now that Champaran is in Bihar. The people who had no idea yet that in which part of the country Champaran is, the kids who are not much aware of the map, are now aware of the map.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a very good learning tip. Again, a screenshot can be taken, a printout can be, taken out. You can
Mhm.
attach it to your textbook, or of course, as a digital resource, it can be extremely valuable for you as an individual student. In fact, a lot of Google tools can be shared. So if you can see that there is this little share button as well on the map legend, on the left. Yeah,
Yes,
you can
this
share
one.
this with your friends through email,
I
and they
want
can
the viewers
also
to
add.
notice that
Yes.
this is the area, because if on your mobile phones you are not able to look at it, that the print is fine. I want to tell you that my cursor is hovering right on it. This
Yes.
is the share button.
Yeah, this is the share button. And you can share this with your teacher, with your classmates, and they can also contribute to this map. So 3, 4 of you can get together and mark all the 8 or 9 important centers of the Indian national movement, or any other theme that you're working on. For example, if you're working on active volcanoes across the world, you can do that also, right? So you can just add people's emails, and when you click on done, they will be able to get a link, editable link, and they can also add their resources. So a couple of friends can get together, create your resource, and share it with the Kishore Manch, and it will be a wonderful resource that students from across the country can use, and thank you for it.
Okay, ma'am. You told us so many things about learning, and our viewers are also requesting, some of them who have joined us later during the discussion. I want to show them the URL of this link, because they have requested, I want
Yes.
to access this link. How can I
Yeah.
do it? So
Actually,
here
all you
is,
have to do, if you're logged into your Gmail ID, you have to type in mymaps.google.com, and
this
it
is
takes
it.
you to, yeah, yes, this is it. It's a simple URL, nothing to get confused about. It helps you to access this through your login, and it saves the map. So you can go back anytime. So even Rakshit, if you close the window and
Hmm.
gone back to it again, the
Hmm.
map is saved for you. So you don't have to recreate
Wow.
it every time.
Wow.
So it's right there at your fingertips.
And the first one is the School Bhuvan website.
Yes.
And this is mymaps.google.com. These are
Yeah.
the two resources that we have talked about today. And that's all about it, I guess. Ma'am, some of the tips that you want to share with our viewers about using these resources?
Google My Maps might be a little more complicated on the phone, but it's possible if you can pinch your screen larger and smaller. But Bhuvan can definitely be used on the mobile screen as well. Though, yes, it kind of seems a little small, but you still can take pretty high quality screenshots on your mobile if you're working on Bhuvan, and then attach it to a document, or later on, if you do have an access to a printer, take a printout of that screenshot, and you have a resource. So are there any questions coming up from our viewers that we can take up?
Ma'am, questions were usually about demonstration, and you have demonstrated everything perfectly. You have guided me through this show how to do it. So I guess if they were doing as well on their computers, they have learned a lot from this demonstration, this activity. And I think the problems will arise later on during their own practices, when they are learning, when they are not able to access. I think they will write us an email on cit.kishoremunch@gmail.com and let us know their questions. There were so many messages during the show, ma'am, but I guess our viewers are really smart, so they have no
They are.
problem
They are.
doing
Our students
these
are far
things.
ahead of us. We usually tend to underestimate them. But
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
learned so much from my students every day. So yes, they are really, really sharp.
So, ma'am, you told us about these activities. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this
My
with us.
pleasure. My pleasure.
And viewers, thank you for you to joining us. And soon we will be having a discussion about growing up concern during adolescence. Stay tuned for that. You are watching Kishore Mind.